Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are going to be talking about Andre Lunin. He is staying. Also, with regards to him staying, that is David Soria not going to join the club. We're also going to talk about contract renewals for the likes of Camavinga, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, as well, which could be announced in the upcoming weeks. Also, Kylian Mbappé. As always, let's do it. So we're gonna start things off with Andre Lunin, Real Madrid's backup goalkeeper. Now, there were rumors coming out a couple of months ago, really, that he's unhappy with being a backup and he wants to leave. Now, Real Madrid said to him, look, if you want to leave, okay, we'll just get David Soria, who is keen to join Real Madrid as a backup. He has decided to stay, and now Real Madrid, obviously with him staying, will not need to go out and get another goalkeeper, so David Soria is not happening. Andre Lunin will decide to stay as a backup. I know, but if you're a goalkeeper and you play for one of these elite clubs, you have to be one of the best. And I'm not saying Lunin isn't one of the best, but he's got someone who is better in Thibaut Courtois. Like, you're not going to be able to top off Thibaut Courtois at this moment in time. Maybe in 3 to 4 years' time, maybe even in 2 years' time. But next season, Courtois is still going to be number one, and I think even the season after, and maybe even the season after. So, look, I think Lunin, he wants to stay for 1 more year as a backup. Maybe he's still young, so of course he can still stay for another season before maybe next year considering his option to leave. But fair play to him, he decides to stay, and he will be the backup goalkeeper next season. And Lunin has always been a very, very special player because he's always had to step in, especially in the in the past actually, couple of months. I mean, we've seen Courtois get, injuries and stuff like that quite frequently. And I remember El Clasico when Lunin played last season when we won 3-1. He was great, and for that patch of games against Elche as well, where he was playing, he was actually very good. So he isn't a bad player. I just think when you have got a goalkeeper like Thibaut Courtois, when he is fit, when he is ready to play, you can't. You just can't. Like, you've got the best keeper in the world, arguably. Your second choice keeper just is gonna get annoyed. Really, I mean, it's the same with every other job. I mean, realistically, Courtois doesn't have much competition unless he turns to the age where Real Madrid feel like replacing him, but he's clearly not at the age just yet. He's still young for a keeper, by the way. So Lunin, I can't see him sticking around for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I think 1 more season, and then next season he might consider leaving because, look, he wants to play. He's made it clear he wants to be a starter, and he could easily go, to every other top 5 league. I think a couple of Premier League clubs would have him as the number 1, but I don't really see him going to the Prem. I mean, a league like a Bundesliga, I think, would suit him well. So let's see what happens with this one. But Lunin stays, and David Soria will not join Real Madrid. Now, here is a bit of news from Jose Felix Diaz. We talked about him a couple of days ago, and even yesterday. So here is the latest. Real Madrid will announce the renewals of Militao, Camavinga, Rodrigo, and Vini Jr. very soon. Now, I expect all of them to have a €1 billion release clause because they are young players for the future. And that will mean that they will stay. So, confirmation with that one. I think Vini Jr. has always kind of not been in doubt. Yes, you have had that racism happen to him, but I think he's always committed his future to Real Madrid, so I think he will stay. We haven't really heard much from Militao and about Rodrigo as well, so I'm not so sure, but I think that will happen. And Kamavinga actually has some breaking news. So Jose Felix Diaz has also reported that breaking Kamavinga has renewed until 2028. So is that true? I think it's true. I think it's been signed in, you know, the club. Of course, it's not made public yet, but you can expect this to be a public announcement soon. So Kamavinga for 5 years. Really? So that's 5 years extension for Kamavinga. So like this tweet says, Kamavinga is probably done. Vini Jr. is probably done. Well, waiting to hear more about Militao and Rodrigo, but I expect these 4 players to definitely stay. Now, moving on to none other than Kylian Mbappé. Who have we got? We've got Santi JFM, or people know him as Santi Awana, if I've said it correctly. But a reliable journalist to a certain extent. Like I said, all these news, unless it's a player that's already at Real Madrid, you have to really take a pinch of salt with, unless it's Fabrizio Romano. Like, I'm not being disrespectful, I'm just saying Fabrizio is the GOAT. That's just my opinion. But I think he's reliable. But let's read what he has to say. Not stay. But the current situation of the Mbappé case. PSG do not want to weaken their negotiating position by calling Real Madrid first. Real Madrid want to receive the green light regarding the deal, and they have the money already, 180 to 200 million euros. Mbappe's preference would be to remain this season at PSG due to the 90 million euros bonus, but he would be ready to join Real Madrid a year early if PSG want to sell. So interesting. Now, we talked about this a couple of days ago in terms of him and PSG. Now, we have now sort of settled that, you know. I think he will probably leave. Now, once you've understood the player and his club's situation, you have to get into kind of the negotiating part. Now, Real Madrid are willing to pay for Mbappé this summer. No problem. But there must be some kind of green light and saying, okay, you can proceed with this deal. You can make an offer. Because realistically, receiving the green light isn't just saying, oh, you can make the bid. Of course, they can make the bid if they want. But in hindsight, what they're saying is PSG don't want to weaken their negotiating position, and Real Madrid don't want to go with an offer because PSG might demand more. They want to see what PSG are demanding, while PSG do not want to do that because then it will weaken themselves. So now you've got a bit of a problem, because Real Madrid want PSG to weaken themselves, while PSG don't want to weaken themselves. So I know it's messy, it's such confusion, but basically you've got PSG are not going to go in and ask, Real Madrid are not going to go in and offer. What's happening? Nothing's happening. So unless one of the two clubs budge, if PSG say, you know what, screw this, we'll take 200 million euros, or Real Madrid say, you know what, screw this, we'll offer you 200 million euros, nothing is going to be resolved. You have to get an agreement, and there's no agreement when both clubs are not willing to budge. So this is incredible, really. On Mbappe's side, I think staying or going to Real Madrid, for him, he doesn't mind. It's not too big of a problem. So on Mbappe's side, not much of a problem, but it's between the two clubs, and let's see what happens with that one. But that'll be it for today. Shorter. I've gotten home quite late today, so I'm recording actually quite late. Usually I record pretty early. I usually record about afternoon for me, and now it's night for me. It's 9 p.m. for me. So look, let me know what your thoughts are. On Lunin staying, on David Sovia not joining, also on Militao, Kamavinga, Vini Jr. and Rodrigo potentially signing the new contract soon. Also on Camavinga, supposedly renewing already to 2028 with a 1 billion euros release clause. And the most important one, what are your thoughts on this Mbappé deal? Do you think that PSG will budge, or do you think Real Madrid will budge first? Let me know down in the comments. But I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe to the channel if it's on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.